Hey, 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 360 Electricians. Welcome back to the 360 Electrician meetup and live stream for the channel. Welcome, welcome. If you're watching this on the replay, I promise you this is going to be a great meetup. And if you're not live with me here, it's because you haven't clicked that little join button that's on our website, on our YouTube main channel. So if you just go to www.youtube.com/@ the 360 Electrician, there's a blue or white join button and you join, and that's how you drop in on this live meet. So as we get started, I've already got two special guests waiting to drop in right now. You guys are going to love it. You guys are going to want to watch this whole thing. And most importantly, you're going to want to subscribe and join the YouTube channel. Okay, are you ready? Guys, come on in and into the live stream. We're going to confuse us all night long. I got Steve Cavaleris out of New York City, and he's going to introduce himself. And we've got Steve Harper, and no need to introduce. You can see the brand name there from Leviton, and we're going to talk about some new products tonight. And you guys are going to be able to ask the questions that you have for both of these guys. But if you don't mind, because Steve Hepner, yours is going to be kind of easy to introduce. Steve Cavaleris, you're on mute, so unmute and tell us who you are, Steve. Why are you in here? Why are you so important in the electrical trade? Well, I think you are.
Well, first of all, I love electrical. That's that's what I love to do. I read the code book every day, and to me, it's just it's such a pleasure to be involved in the electrical business. I'm a master licensed electrician. I'm also an electrical inspector, and I'm the lead electrical instructor for electricaltime.com. And what I do all day is I help people with their electrical questions, and that's what I do.
Very, very, very cool. Well, you missed a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Steve, you're an electrical inspector, so whether we love you or hate you, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you know what? It's sort of like a love-hate relationship that my electricians have with me. You know, they love me when I help them, and then they hate me when I fail them. But you know, I look at this very clearly, like I'm there to help protect them from, you know, dangers down the road of maybe something that's bad that might cause them a big problem later on, maybe like a fire or something.
Sure.
And, you know, it's a tough thing when I have to fail, you know, an electrician. But, you know, I also explain to them why I'm failing them. And I'll even take time out of my day to open up my code book. We'll look at the code book together. And, you know, I love teaching the code. So, you know, by the time that electrician makes that same mistake maybe 2 or 3 times, and the 4th time, you know, they're perfect. They're not going to make that same mistake again. And then obviously when they get their new employees, they're going to have to teach it so that
start all over.
You know, right. But it's a lot of fun, you know, when I see a lot of progress with especially the apprentices and the journeymen.
Yes.
It's very satisfying to look at their progress and becoming better electricians.
Sure. And before I introduce the other Steve, you got a couple other things. What is this electricaltime.com? See, I know Steve, so I'm playing devil's advocate here because me and Steve just did a podcast together actually yesterday, which is coming out this week. But Steve, Electrical Time, talk to me.
Electricaltime.com, that's my website. And what I do is I host live classes on a weekly basis. And you know, my students come in on Zoom, and we do a code class. And at the end of the class, I leave it open for about half an hour. And my students ask me all kinds of questions. And we go through our code book and we help each other as a class. And it's the best job that I've ever had. So that's you know, basically what I do. I teach the code. And the website's electricaltime.com. If anybody's interested, they can come and, you know, check out one of our online classes.
Very cool. Andy just dropped in. Andy, thank you so much. He is a subscriber to the channel. We're going to get you on here. We're just introducing our special guests today. And Steve, I think the last but not least, so we've got that. I know you work with Mike Holt and all that good stuff. I think they should listen to the podcast and know more about you. Steve Hepner, let's go, my friend. I mean, who do you work for? Is it Coca-Cola or?
Let me see if I've got it anywhere.
There it is. There it is.
So, Yeah, hi Jeff. Thanks for having me. Love what you're doing here, getting the good word out on electrical. Really think that you invited me to be on to at least kind of maybe tease something that we might hopefully be doing very soon. Getting you to try an Leviton load center here, and I think I just again,
Yeah.
thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Steve is coming in. Steve and I share a mutual friend that I've been doing business with well over 20 years. Justin, big shout out to you, Parkway Electric. And I think you were there that day, right? We were talking to Justin. Is that how this conversation started?
That might have been Jim locally, but
Okay.
I've just saw Justin last week actually, or 2 weeks ago. I forget. So
He's a good guy over there. So
yes.
Justin said, "Hey," and you're right. Maybe it was Jim, and Jim got me in contact with Steve, and Steve and I had a great conversation this afternoon. In fact, Steve K over there in New York, you are very familiar with what Steve's going to talk about. And Steve, we're going to give the beginning. I was going to say podcast, right? Because we've been doing podcasting all week. But I'm going to give this to you. And then, Andy, you get ready. You listen up. You're going to learn about some new products. As our subscribers drop in, I'm going to get them live here. I've got a couple of guys that should be dropping in. But Steve, I'm super excited that Leviton has come out with this smart panel. And I know it's been around for a while, but truth be told, I'm just as guilty. Sometimes we just get into the rhythm, right? The rhythm is wham, bam, I'm done. Whang, bang. I'm used to something. I do it. I just sell it and I get out the door. And then really at the end of the year, I'm wondering why I couldn't buy that new boat. Why didn't I go on vacation? Because I'm just doing things the same way all the time. I'm taking that panel off of quote unquote Home Depot, slapping that Marie in, I'm out. When there's a whole other, for 5 years now, I believe you guys have kind of started developing this. Is it correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So you got this product that's such an upsell. It's such a, I'm not going to call it a luxury item. I'm going to call it a 2023 item, to be honest with you. My whole house I'm building here in Montana, and I've got some of the videos. If you're a joined member, you get to see some backstage. Tell me about your product and what it does, because I'm super excited about it. First of all, the one on the left, I'm a big Star Wars fan. We talked about that. And I said, gosh, if I had that panel when I built this house, I would have put it right in the middle of the living room or somewhere, maybe in my home office or somewhere where people would walk in and go, whoa, what is that? So I'll give it to you, Steve. Take over.
Well, Jeff, you hit the nail on the head. If you want to be different, differentiate yourself, this is the product for you. I joined Leviton about 6 years ago because I'm really passionate about building a sustainable future. So I thought, innovating the electrical industry, what a greater way to do that. So this, just the quick highlights on this, what makes this panel different than the other panels, like you said, you're used to using, is definitely going to be the wiring system. So you actually wire the Leviton load center and not the breakers. So just quick example, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Your traditional electronic breakers, you're putting two wires in there. You're actually not landing anything to the breakers. You're going to land it to the panel and then simply just plug in your breakers. Makes it really easy to maintain, really easy to install. And then you're always going to get a 225 amp tin plated copper busing. So superior busing in there and a really nice wiring system. And you can use just regular breakers for your kind of regular projects. Then you have that ability to upsell, like you said, and you can populate this panel full of as many smart breakers as you want, communicating to a data hub, to the cloud, to your phone, and you get all the nice features and benefits that come with that as well.
That's very cool. Steve, you had the pleasure of actually installing one of these in your own home.
I do. I have it. And you know what? It's the coolest thing. I've got Steve. I got the one that has the clear portion and the door. And when people people walk into my basement, that's the first thing they see. My God, that's such a beautiful panel. And you're right. I have some breakers here. I got a single pole Leviton, and I got a 2-pole over here. And it was such a breeze to get this thing installed. It was like it was too simple. And I think the nice thing, and if you know any electricians out there that do maybe some sloppy work when they're installing a panel, this Leviton panel actually helps and forces you to do a nice, neat job, because you're landing those conductors right in the panel. And then all you're doing is you're just snapping the breakers in. It's just unbelievable from my perspective how much time it saves and just how elegant it is.
I want to make a comment there. Look, I'm jealous. I'm going to be honest with you. You see, if you see my panel install, you can just point and go, yeah, Jeff installed that one. because that's not my thing in my company, right? I'm not installing, but even in my own house, I'm kind of embarrassed because I want to film, and I did the job while I'm running 3 businesses, and so it kind of looks like, but I love this, and I don't want to name any other brands, but some of the other brands are starting to get to that. But this is like an all and around. You're getting your hot and your neutral right there, and you're just popping in and out breakers. That's pretty amazing. And then I know when we talked earlier, Steve, is about your dual functions. It's a magnetic trip or magnetic breaker. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Sure. So it's actually a safer breaker technology. So first of all, when you're looking at any kind of safety device, arc fault, ground fault, or then a dual function that has both, the Leviton load center breakers have at-a-glance diagnostics. So instead of needing to get in and hold your test buttons and actuate the handles and do some type of other diagnostics by counting blinks, you actually just see right away, what does that indicating light say? Even on a dual function, 2 different lights. I could clearly see just by walking up to my panel, find the one with the red handle, and then which lights are on. GF lights on, I had a ground fault. Arc fault light on, I had an arc fault. If no lights are on, I had an overload. And I don't even have to touch my panel to see what's going on. And then on top of that, easy to see and diagnose, it's a lot safer. So because of the way we designed this, we actually do not have a test button. It says off, test, and on. When your panel has power, if your breaker turns on, everything works.
Wow. Pretty amazing. Definitely pretty amazing. Steve, what experience have you had? How long have you had that panel in the house?
This is my second home and my second Leviton panel. So this one's been in for 2 years. My previous home, it was in for about another 2.5 years.
Very cool. And Steve, I was asking you as well. I'm jealous. I don't have it yet. Soon. We're going to put a lot of videos on this panel because I'm a firm believer. And me and Steve H went through a bunch of stuff, Steve K, about what it does. And really, I'll give you an example. We were just talking about it on the app, and this is why it's so important. And Andy, I'm going to get you in here, so stay tuned, man. I'm glad you're here. You're going to introduce yourself as well. Couple of things. My wife likes to leave the curling iron on. And we were just talking to Steve about if you ran a dedicated circuit like I do to your bathrooms and separate them, there is a function on the app where it says if this thing is drawing, I think, and correct me, Steve, if I'm wrong, if it's drawing more than 3 amps or whatever you set it to for more than 1 hour, it gives you a notification. And your phone would bing you and say your bathroom has been drawing, and then you can hit a button and disconnect the breaker. It's not a switch, but you can disconnect it. And you called it something specific. What is that?
I call it load shedding, and that's more
yes.
of a safety trip. And those numbers you were giving are user defined. So in a bathroom, maybe you want 1 hour. If you're a gourmet chef and you want to put it on your oven, maybe you want 3 hours. If you're someone like me who just needs about 15 minutes for mac and cheese, maybe you just set it 30 minutes.
That's very cool. Yeah, we were talking about some other things as well. I mean, just think about that for a minute. I know we talked about a couple of items where we say, oh, yeah, wow, you might leave that on and leave for the day. And then, what if you go on vacation and you just forgot to turn some stuff off? You can load shed it and you're good to go. I think that's huge selling points for electrical contractors. Guys, just pause for a second. I still want to get into that. I want to get Andy in here to introduce himself, see where we're coming from. I know we've met before, Andy, but it's all you. I'm going to unmute you here. Where are you tuning in from, my friend?
What's up, Jeff? What's up, Steve and Steve? Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for hosting this, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Always, man. I appreciate you guys for being subscribers to the channel and just, just following my craziness.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So tell everybody where you're coming in from. You're electrician, electrical contractor.
Yeah. So my name is Andy. I'm an electrical contractor out here in Los Angeles. I'm kind of a new contractor. Just passed my C10 exam a couple weeks ago. Finally got.
I do remember that. Did we do coaching? Is that how I remember?
Exactly.
Okay, there you go. All right. How did the coaching go, by the way? Did I give you any value?
Oh, definitely, for sure. Yeah, I got my notes right here from our meeting. Definitely going to be implementing those notes, and thanks for that.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're joining. In what part of California? Southern? My neck of the woods? LA. Yeah, that's right. Where? South LA?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And I apologize. I'm 51. I'm not going to remember any of that. So, Andy, are you hiring yet or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. If you want, you can give a shout out to your your electrician's name. It's totally up to you, but always come back because this channel, you got thousands and thousands of mostly electrical contractors. We got a lot of electricians coming in, 60,000 views a month. No joke. So when you're ever hiring, one of the biggest perks I have for the channel is you come on live and you say, hey guys, I'm in Los Angeles. This is who I am. If you're looking for a job, come work for my company. And I've had lots of guys on this channel be able to hire great guys just by doing that. So we appreciate you being here. I want to head back over to Steve at Leviton really quick. Steve, I got a couple of questions for you. Excuse me. So Steve, where is the best place that we can pick up this panel for electrical contractor? Are we going to go straight to our wholesale house? Even though we talked about that a little bit, we've got some nationwide wholesale houses that are kind of in bed with certain companies. Will they still be able to get it for us, or where would you recommend being the best place? Plus, by the way, you did say 400 Home Depots are carrying it.
Yes. I believe if it's not 400, it will be by the middle of this year and possibly more. So you can look there. You can look on their website. We also, if you're an electrical contractor, check with your electrical distributor. If you see Leviton, they definitely have some of our other products, and they should be able to at least get you in touch with a Leviton salesperson who can find a stocking distributor. Because Jeff, I mean, you did mention it. Sometimes there's a little bit of the gear world. They don't like to share shelf space with multiple manufacturers. So, we're definitely in all the big ones. It just depends what region you are. I can't tell you. It's across the board going to be in every single one
Gotcha.
of a certain channel partner. But
and then
the Leviton brand, there's someone nearby who can help you.
Yeah, and listen, Leviton's everywhere. All my outlets in the house are Leviton. All my switches are Leviton. And one other thing is, we did talk about the competition. We don't need to talk about it now because I'll be talking about it plenty in the videos. And the difference there is, you're talking about a one-off company that kind of, listen, I'm not knocking them, but it's not a company like Leviton that's going to be around, that's been there, that's done that. It's a new company, and if I'm going to put my eggs in a basket like that, and I want to, and I am, it's going to be with a brand like Leviton for sure. So there are one or two other brands, and I want to call them knockoffs because really they're the small guy or whatnot. But I think you guys got a game changer, man, and I really appreciate you. I know that me and Steve are going to try to get some Leviton merch here to give to you guys. Steve, you're more than welcome to stay. I know you got the family tonight, and I really appreciate you coming on. This will not be the last time that we have Leviton on the channel. Steve, I appreciate you. So as I said, hang out. You're here. And now I'm going to move to Steve K up there. We're going to talk a little bit of code. All right. Steve, how are you, Steve K?
I'm good.
So, Steve, we got Andy in here, and he's a brand new electrical contractor.
Congratulations,
so
Andy.
We talked a little bit about this. I'm going to see if I can put you guys side by side. How funny would that be, right? Andy, I'm going to get you in here and make you sweat a little bit. And I don't know why any of the other subscribers, we got a full house today, but this is what happens. People get busy or they're going to come in late. But we should have had 4 more subscribers. But Andy, I'm glad you're here. We would have just done another podcast, Steve, if he wasn't. So, new electrician in Los Angeles. I can help him out quite a bit. We talked about a lot of things. I know we talked about it on the podcast. So stay tuned for the podcast. And by the way, I forgot to give you the shout out. Everybody needs to go to Steve's YouTube channel, Electric Time on YouTube. You got to start subscribing to him because he is going to drop the knowledge. And Andy, he scared the crap out of me yesterday on our podcast. I don't know if we want to talk about that because I want to leave it at the podcast. But since Andy's a new electrical contractor, we've got electrical contractors in here. Tell us the top 3 things you look for as an inspector again. Or let's just do the 1 or 2, some of the good ones.
Well,
something that Andy's going to want to make sure he's up to par on.
As an electrical inspector, I have to have confidence and faith in the electrician and the contractor, and also in the employees that are working on the job. So when I see nice, clean work, I feel better about what I'm looking at. And, there might be a mistake here or there, and hopefully it's nothing tragic. But when I see sloppy work and I see that the workmanship is not neat and workmanlike, which is a requirement of the National Electrical Code, my stomach starts to growl, and I'm getting scared. How many things am I going to find on this job now? Because it's really my job to help the contractor to be safe. Because you don't want me to pass a job saying, oh, it's approved, but you had a couple of things that might become a problem later on. So it's better we solve them now. And it's a learning exercise to become a better electrician. Because if you have fewer callbacks in the future, that's going to save on your bottom line. And if you
Sure.
If you have I'm not saying you, Andy, but I've seen contractors where they do just sloppy work, and after the job is done, they got to go back there 4, 5, 10 times to fix things. And that's on them. So my only advice is, make sure that the people you hire take real pride in their work, like I'm sure that you do. And, make sure that they know the code. And if they
Right.
don't know the code, they're more than welcome to come to my website, electricaltime.com. And I can let them sit in for one class and see if they like it. And basically what I do is I just teach the code. I got the easy job. I teach the code, and I got a lot of good students that want to learn the code. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Listen, Andy, I'm going to put you on the spot, my friend. I mean, you got an electrical inspector. He's in New York, thank God. So if we say anything to him, he's not going to come and fail us. But you got any questions? And what I'm going to do right now is, you guys, I got Steven from Mad Electrician. I invited in, and he's sitting there. And Steven, I see you. I just went to the comments. One, I'm sending you the invite. I'm going to grab you guys. You're going to come in. I'm going to send you guys an email. I think that's the best way to do it. And for anybody else that's a subscriber, I can see your little note there. Come and join the podcast. We're about to get Steven from the Mad Electrician. Like I say, Steve, you're the code guru. Steven is the union guru. So we're going to get him in here. We're going to talk about union. Okay. And us non-union guys are going to bash him. But, he might win. This guy's got a good following. He's a good kid. I call him a kid because I'm probably 20 years older than him. But let me get him in here. Meanwhile, Andy, it's all you, man. You're a controlling the 360 electrician members only meetup. Go for it.
Right on. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I guess one question I have is about surge protection and how that's fairly new. A lot of inspectors are still not really aware. They don't ask me about that. They don't really I don't even see them like looking for it. Is that something that's kind of common?
Well, that's right, a new article in the 2020 code. That's going to be, I think, Article 242. It comes right after Article 240 for overcurrent protection. So, it's been in the code before, but now it's its own article. So what I'm really going to stress here is that, there's 3 levels of surge protection. We also have different voltages. We got a level 1, level 2, level 3. And you have to know when to install that, how to install that. I think the most critical piece of information when installing that type of equipment, and this is a secret, so don't tell anybody else, about this, okay? When you open up that equipment, there's going to be instructions in it on how to install it. And we have to follow the instructions, and that's found in 110.3b, and that's called installation and use. So as I was, showing before, actually, I have a Leviton panel in my house, and in the box, for the breakers, there's this secret piece of paper, and it's called the instructions, right? So I got some instructions here. Look at all of this detail that's in here. So,
Steve, hold on. Have you ever seen an electrician with a broom?
No.
Okay. I don't know if you show it, you're going to scare people. Instructions. No, I'm just kidding. So
but
you're right.
What I suggest, Eddie, as a new electrical contractor, you keep a book of all the new equipment that you're buying, especially surge protection. Again, that's going to be Article 242, brand new in the 2020 NEC. And you make a binder, and you read all the instructions. Make sure you read them. And then when you start hiring your electricians, the helpers and the apprentices and the journeymen, make sure that they're aware of all of these instructions and let them read it. Because when you read the instructions, even on a 3-way switch, a 4-way switch, a receptacle, there's so much great information in there that you actually become a more knowledgeable electrician just by reading the instructions. So that's my number one piece of advice for any electrician. And if your electrical inspector doesn't know quite how to look at this new piece of equipment, just give them the installation instructions and say, hey, I'm in compliance with 110.3b because this is a listed product and I have to follow the instructions. And I did. And the electrical inspector is probably going to learn something new. And they're probably going to be very happy because usually we don't see these. The electricians throw these away. I don't know why, but it's got a lot of great information on here.
That's a very good point, right, Andy? That's a good point. Something like that, always have it on site. That's the same question. Steve just got off, but the question I asked, and I sent it to you, Steve. Andy, I asked Steve the same question. I have a sponsor sending me whole house surge protectors, and of course, they're on a 2-pole with a neutral. But you got to double it up on the breaker terminal. I didn't know some breaker terminals and some panels are rated to be doubled up. Steve?
Well,
correct?
that's true.
That's what Steve told me from Leviton. He said his panels are rated to be doubled up, and it's listed that way.
Well, there's going to be terminal conductor terminations, and sometimes you can put one conductor or two conductors inside a terminal, but it has to be listed so that it can accept, two conductors. Got to be real careful about that. So when I look at a panel and I'm doing an inspection and I see somebody's got, two conductors on a single pole breaker, I'm going to look, I'm going to say, is that breaker listed for two conductors? Two conductors. Well, I get a little feedback here, but I'll take a look at that, and if it is, it is, and if it's not, it's not. Then they're going to have to fix it somehow.
Sorry, someone might have their volume up with their speakers, but I'm going to get Steven in here, and I'm going to get you guys in here real quick. That's what Steven from Leviton was saying, is that theirs are listed to be doubled up. So, Andy, going back to your question, you better have those instructions. Steven, what's up, my friend? You're mute. Oh, did I mute you? Sorry, buddy. Let me unmute you, and I'm going to unmute you, Juan. Steven, good to see you, my friend. Oh, it's not unmuting. Okay, check your settings. Juan, good to see you.
Good.
There you go.
Hey, what's up? Awesome.
Hey, my live streams never go perfect. So if it's an imperfect live stream, we know we're good. You guys all know Steven, Mad Electrician? Yes?
Hi.
Juan, do you know Steven?
It's me.
Yes, no?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I see his content all the time. He's
Very cool.
He has awesome content.
He does.
Been doing it
This
for a
is
while.
Steven, how old are you? Can I ask?
Yeah, I'm 28.
Dude, this guy's the wonder kid. This guy's got like 20
That's
videos
awesome.
and like 40,000, 50,000 subscribers. I've got 300 and I barely can get 5 of you guys on a live stream. So Steven, whatever you're doing it, man. I appreciate you. And I love your niche and I love it. Guys, non-union guys, non-union rules. No, I'm just kidding. But Steven and Daily, I met John a while ago too. And
Yeah,
Steven, I'm going to get to you, Juan. You're going to introduce yourself. But Steven, introduce yourself to my channel. I've talked about you on a bunch of videos. Hey, let us, where you live and kind of how you even got into the trade. Love to hear it.
Sure.
And by the way, Steven, meet Steve. Meet Steven. Steve also has a YouTube channel. We have a mutual friend, and he is an electrical inspector in New York. He sits on a couple of the code stuff. He works with Mike Holt, so he's the brains of the operation here.
Nice.
But I wanted you guys to meet as well. But go for it, Steven. It's all you.
Cool. Yeah, Steve, I heard you mentioning some Article 110.12 action there with neat and workmanlike electrical
Neat
work.
and workmanlike, yes.
Yeah. So my YouTube channel is Mad Electrician, and basically the purpose behind my channel is just to help people that are interested in getting into the electrical trade, specifically on the union side of things, to get in. When I was going through my apprenticeship specifically for union, there really wasn't a whole lot of content out there, and so like all my videos that I make now, my target audience is basically myself 6 years ago when I was trying to get into the trade. And so every single thing that I make is specifically, something that I would have wanted to watch back then when I was trying to get in.
And that is really cool. That niche took off on you. You saw the need. You did it. You're a young guy. You got good energy. The way you talk, you're really humble talking, actually. I like that. I don't hear any cussing off your channel, so it's totally like family friendly, which is smart. Yeah. I think anybody getting into the YouTube and I talked to Steven about monetizing, because I'm the B2B guy, right? And some of the tips and tricks, very, very cool. I'm super happy you're here. I'm going to put you on pause. We're going to come right back to you as long as you stay with us. Juan, good to see you, my friend. You've been a new subscriber, right? Recently? Not a subscriber, but a member. Very cool. I'm super happy you're here. I'm going to put you on. You got your volume pretty loud, Juan. Can you hear us? Good to see you, my friend. You've been a new subscriber. All right. Looks like we got a little technical.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Member. Nope.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So new member or new subscriber to the channel? You got your volume pretty loud, Juan. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
There we go. One. Let's give it one more try.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of echo. I might have to pop off this.
Okay. Let me see if you can fix that. I'm going to ask Steven a quick question real quick. Hey, Steven, do you have join members on your channel yet?
No, I don't.
No, you haven't opened that. Oh, you haven't opened that up.
No, and I've thought about it. I have not done it yet. I'd love to pick your brain about it and maybe talk with you later on about that.
Yeah, look, I'm no Dustin, right? I don't know how many members he's probably got. I've heard him say it a couple times, but we got a good healthy 60 people that support the channel.
Right
I'm
on.
shocked that they do it. I love you guys to do it. Again, Andy's one of them, and so is Juan. It's not much. I mean, the charge, and like I said, now these two guys are on here and they can ask questions to someone like Steve, which Andy just did, or like we got Leviton rep. And so that's the whole thing about my channel is the business to business. So that we're at a coffee shop and you're next to another electrical contractor. Hey, so can I see your paperwork? Can I have a copy of your paperwork? Yeah, get the hell out of here, right? So I'm that electrician that goes, heck yeah, of course I monetize it. I have to. I got to make a living. But here you go. What else do you want to know? Anything you want to know, it's an open book. And I think people appreciate that, and that's why I do it. But I wanted to ask you that question. But I think you'd have a ton of people because people are searching that niche like crazy, obviously.
Yeah, the thing is, I get so many questions, especially on like Instagram. Like my backlog of messages that I have is just crazy, and so I try my best to get back to people. But maybe if I did something like this, like a paid membership, then those people that really want to get that advice, then they would get it one-on-one from me. So I've been really thinking about it. For sure.
Very cool. Well, see, you heard it here first. Mad Electrician might let you join his channel, so I'll be the first winner. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, Juan, you're back with the headphones. Let's do it, man. Tell us where you're coming in from. Let us know a little bit about your company. And Juan's out again. Juan, I want to get you in here, man. And we got Brad and a couple other people in the sidelines that haven't joined us. Okay, you back, Juan?
I'm coming in from Riverside, California.
All right, another California native.
I just got the company started about this.
You're good.
I know it's rough.
No, you're good. I think you just have a delay. So I'm going to pause for a second, guys. I know you're on the live stream. By the way, if you're on the live stream and you haven't hit like right now, please hit the like button. We keep going all night long, Steven. I don't know if you know, and Steve. Andy, I know you've probably been here, I think, the last time. We just keep going as long as people keep giving us likes, and we just talk all night long. So, all right, Juan, it's you. I'm gonna let's see if this works again. If it doesn't, I'll get you back on. Don't worry about it. Let's see if he's got the delay. Okay. Juan, we're going to have to move on, my brother. I'm not trying to ignore you. I really appreciate you, but I know you're getting technical difficulties. I'll just meet you out.
All right.
And you can type, by the way, type anything you want on the sidebar. I'll make sure we post it up there. In fact, guys, really quick, if you don't mind, can we go to some comments? Let's see if we have some comments. This guy's in here. Look at this guy. Listen, you got a code guru here. Steve is here to answer some code questions. Andy, I'm going to give it back up to you. Ricky, good to see you, my friend. Louise, love the content. Jeff, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Juan, I had you up here already. We don't have a ton of comments, but let's get those comments coming in. Jonathan, thank you very much. You're a new member. I really appreciate you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And ask us your questions. Ask Steve any of your code questions. If you're a union in here, or you were thinking about going union and you're tired of being independent, you're tired of working for people like me, and you want to find out about the union, well, here is your chance. You're not going to get a better chance than this. You got Steven here that's going to be able to tell you everything. And by the way, Mad Electrician, is it at Mad Electrician or the Mad Electrician?
At Mad Electrician.
Okay, so it's at Mad Electrician on YouTube. So you would go to www.youtube.com. Let me get this off so they can see. I'm trying to get all my advertising out of here and pop you guys in here. So if you go to www.360electric, youtube.com/ at Mad Electrician, you're going to find Steven. And by the way, you're even bigger on Instagram than YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It sort of just blew up. I think it was a lot of the little quick tips and stuff that I do. People really like that, and yeah,
I'm no good at growing. Let me tell you, I do a bunch of stuff, but who knows what grows? I'm not in. I get on TikTok and everyone's laughing like, you're on TikTok, 51 years old doing TikTok. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Some of my sponsors actually required it. Like, you got to be on this social media, this social media, this social media. Not that I'm selling out to them, but I really want to get the product out there. So I'm like, all right, I'll get on there if I need to.
For sure. It's funny because it's always the things that I think that are going to do really well that like kind of flop. And then the things that I'm just like, well, maybe I'll share this. Maybe somebody wants to see it. And then that blows up.
Yeah. So I'm going to open it up to 5 of us. Everybody can ask whatever questions you want to each other. Andy and Juan, love that you guys are in California. I sure hope you guys did my paperwork. I was showing Steven yesterday. Sorry, Steve up there, not you, Steven. So I sell my editable version of my paperwork so that companies like theirs can get protected and be legal in California. But like I said, running a red light is illegal in California, just like New York. So a lot of this legal is just to cover your butt. You know, if you go to a job site and the customer has not secured the work area and you are not responsible to move furniture, you know, what if you show up on the job site because it's a tenant property, right? I'm the landlord. I call you and say, go out, my tenant's there. And you show up and the tenant's not there. You just wasted half a day. In here, it says that I have to charge you an additional $199 service call. You see what? I just protect. This list grew. It's editable. So California Title 24, Juan, Andy, right now you guys are tripping. Steven, you guys have Title 24 for sure in your Washington, yes, or Oregon? Oregon. Nah, maybe not yet, but you're going to get it. Steve, I know you guys are Title 24, right? You're muted on there, Steve. Let me get you off. There you go.
I believe so. I'm not sure, but I believe so.
Yeah, it's all the energy conservation. I don't want to call it BS, but it's all the regulations. Steven, I don't know how much you have it there, but in California now, Andy, this is super important for you. You look, you can steal up to $950 in California and you don't go to jail. You get a ticket. If you don't put an LED light bulb in a bathroom, you might go to jail. They'll take you to the slammer for sure and fine you $1,000. That's how crazy the energy conservation codes are in California. It's almost unbreathable. Steve, we talked about something, and Steven, you can appreciate that. Andy, you're totally going to appreciate it. You know, we were just talking about how we're already way over regulated as electrical contractors. Unions pretty much regulated as well. I mean, that's why they have to charge what they charge, benefits and all that stuff. But it's almost becoming impossible to do our jobs because you got to do it right. You got to do it to code. And Steve brushed up on that where we were just talking about, you know, customer calls me and I just want to replace one receptacle. We go in there going, yeah, 129. Haha, I go and I have my sushi and it's all good. And Steve reminded me, yeah, I hope you protected the circuit now with an arc fault breaker. And I'm like, oh yeah. Things that we don't think about, but guess what? If there's a fire or if somebody gets hurt, we're in big trouble. So it's kind of funny about that. Bubba, here we go. Do you use the index to look up things in the code? That's for you, Steve. Bubba's asking you a question there.
No, I don't.
Because you know it by heart.
My secret sauce, believe it or not, I use my index cards. And what I forced myself to do is to memorize the articles, the names of the articles, for the entire code book. So if I'm working on a swimming pool, it's going to be 680, solar 690, grounding and bonding, 250. I'm doing a load calculation. That's going to be Article 220. So what I do is I teach people how to get ready to take the exam to either become a journeyman or a master or an electrical inspector. And I force them to memorize the articles of the code. And once you get familiar with the articles and you look around for the parts and you get familiar with the parts, and you're going to use the index every once in a while, but if you're going to use it all the time on an exam, I can pretty much guarantee that you just failed the exam. So that's my take. But yeah, I'll use it sometimes if I can't really find something, but at least I want to know what article you're talking about. And then we go to the article and then we look at the parts, if there's any parts, and then we get closer to finding that answer.
Very cool. Steven, obviously, when you got in and your journey's been going pretty crazy, like you've been leveling up pretty crazy as well. And a lot of your stuff's going to be knowing the code as well. And by the way, is Oregon have Journeyman Master? How does the Oregon certifications work?
Yeah, so we have Oregon and then we have a supervisors. And so you have to be a journeyman for 8,000 on-the-job hours before you can qualify for your supervisors. Wow. And then it's just like any other state. I mean, it's a big, difficult test.
And I never thought about it because I'm not union. But Steve, you also inspect union jobs as well.
I inspect all kinds of jobs.
Yeah.
And just
I didn't even think about that. I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Let everybody know, I'm a residential electrician. I'm not a union electrician. That's just how I started. A guy gave me a break when I was in my mid-30s to become an electrician, and I grabbed it. I actually left from another profession to learn electrical, and I made $10 an hour. I was raising a family. I had a mortgage. I had car payments, but I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be the best electrician out there. But if I had to go back in time, I think I would have tried to join the union when I was young and start there, because the union gives terrific amounts of education.
Absolutely.
And I see it, but we're a smaller contractor, might not be able to afford to give their electricians the education that they need.
That's a good point.
And that's why I created my what I do at electricaltime.com, and where I give everybody the chance to come in and learn the code. Doesn't matter if you're union or non-union, and everybody's the same in my class.
Awesome.
They're all students, and we all try to help each other.
Very cool.
And I see something there. We got some flashcards. All right, the quick pads. All right.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I found these actually after I took my C10 exam, right? So Builder's Book has a bunch of flashcards. This is for the master electrician. They have another stack for the code book, another stack if you want to take your journeyman exam. So those are pretty sweet for anybody that's watching. You can go to Builder's Book. I don't know if you can see that on there somewhere. The trick is they're kind of hard to find on their website for some reason, but you gotta search in their search window.
Thanks for giving me one. Appreciate
there you
that.
go.
Can you hand me another one?
Flash.
Can you hand me another one?
Yeah.
Give me another one.
Here's another one, dude.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that one. So now I got two. Can you give me another one? Give me another one. Go ahead. Give me another one.
I got more. I got
okay. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Pass it.
There you go.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, very cool. How about? Did you give me another one? Is there one more there?
Yeah, there's one more here. Like that one's open.
Now we're being entertaining.
Yeah.
Thank you. There you go. Well, what do you know? Okay. Very cool. That is a great resource, and I know Steve even knows about it. Builder's Book is out in Chatsworth, and they want to sponsor my channel too. How crazy is that? So they sent all this stuff out to me. The really cool stuff they have is the thing cards, the quick cards. Steve, you're familiar with these. Steven, have you ever seen these?
I bought that. I bought one at an IAEI seminar. And I thought it was such a great thing to have this quick card there. It's got so much information.
It's amazing.
It's well worth. I think I paid $10 or $20 for it. I forget what I paid for it, but the information that's on the quick card it's right there. It's quick.
Very cool. Very cool. Can we do a giveaway? From Andy's from Andy, from the Mad Electrician, and from Electric Time? How about we do a giveaway? Let me get the question off there. Jonathan will get back to you. Jonathan's got a question. Union in my area is IBEW 441. That's like code for you guys. Like the Matrix. Okay, so guys, we can give away a Ranger Design service van. I have the ProMaster. I have the Sprinter. I have the my favorite, because I have it, the Ford Transit, and I know I have a couple other ones, and the Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, I guess we have 3 of them, right? Is there any other ones? I thought I had the Metris. Okay, so let's either give one of those away, or let's give away a Ranger Design bottle, and this is coming to you guys from electrictime.com, Mad Electrician, and Andy out in Los Angeles to the channel. What should the question be? What does the people that need to make a comment, first one that answers a question, what do you think it should be? Let's think about this for a second. Or why don't we give one of each away? They can pick whichever car they want. That's compliments of Ranger Design. Thank you, Ranger Design, for sponsoring the channel. Big plug. And then we can give away FieldPulse stuff and some other sponsor stuff. Steven, I know you got a stash of sponsored stuff, man. I know you do. But you and I are going to talk about that later. Klein Tools, you could have been on here. Racketeers, where are you? Anyway, what should the question be? I'm thinking, what do you think? How about something, a first person that can tell me, Steven, what about one of your last videos, the topic, the first person that writes the topic of your last video? Do you remember what your last video you posted was?
Yeah.
Done. The first person that types in the title or however you want to do it, whatever you want to do it, just the description title. As long as Steven knows that you watched his video. The first person that types it in is going to win. You're going to get your choice of either the vans or you're going to get the bottle. Steve, how are we going to do yours, Steve? How about how are you going to know if somebody signed up or went to your site? Are we going to know that?
I will. Yeah, I'll get
How
they'll
about
send
your
me an
last
email.
video? How about
They'll
your
send-
last video? Oh, Juan's back too. Let me get Juan back in here. How about your last video? How about
yeah,
the first person that comments?
Yeah,
You-
I do remember my last video, which was 2 weeks ago.
Perfect. So I'll give time. You guys can click out and come back in. The first person that writes down what Mad Electrician's last video was, I don't care if it's Instagram or wherever he's at. He's all over the place. He's on billboards in Oregon. You can just drive down the street. And or Steve. And Juan, this is coming from Juan as well. Juan, what's your company's name if you want to tell it?
The Real Electric Company.
Juan is back. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I remember that. Boom. Riverside.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very cool. Are you hiring Juan?
I have 2 helpers right now at the moment.
Perfect.
I'm
Okay.
always hiring though.
You're always hiring? Okay, then you know what? This is the channel for it. A lot of people have found jobs through this channel because look, 70% of you guys watching are electrical contractors. About 25% want to be. The 5% of you, I don't know. I can't tell. Sometimes I'll get people from Pakistan and some other places that want to come here and they ask me for a job. I can't help you, but 5%, I don't know. But that's our channel. So if you're an electrical contractor like Juan or Andy and you want to hire, come on, join the channel. Come here and you can put your posting right here and say, guys, I'm hiring. I need some help. And you'll get good guys coming in because I believe it. Most of the people that watch this YouTube channel and the ones that are going to be watching these other guys that are on here are guys that are serious about their trade. You know, I mean, no one's looking at me for this face, right? It's not like, you know, hey, do I need to say it? I'm not one of those TikTokers, right? You know, those are nice. Those videos are really nice to watch, pleasant on the eyes. This is not. So whoever's in here is serious about the trade. All right. Do we have it? Do we have a winner yet? Let me see. Bubba, what's going on here? Is it worth? Okay, we'll ask some questions as we go on. Is it worth it for the? And I don't know why Bubba's not in here, and I don't know why my phones keeps ringing. Bubba, why aren't you in here? You're a subscriber. You're a joined member. Who's that question to? Is it for you, Stephen? Is I8?
I think it might be for me. I'm actually a member of the IAEI. It's called the International Association of Electrical Inspectors, and I also sit on a special finance committee to the board of directors for corporate for the International Association of Electrical Inspectors. And I got to tell you, it's such a wonderful organization. Next month, we're going to be doing a couple of NEC code update classes. And I got to tell you, the amount of knowledge in the room and the instructors who come, these are the top people in the country. You know, we have Mike Hofkin. You know, I don't know if anyone who doesn't know Mike Hofkin, but you know, he's part of Underwriters Laboratory. He's a lead engineer over there, and we got some incredible people actually who are the people who write the code book. You know, the members, you know, who actually write the code that we read here. So those are the people that we have at our seminars, and yes, it is absolutely worth it. And if you'd like to have more information, go to my website, electricaltime.com, and there's a button. It's called Online Classes, and then you'll see my email address, and you can shoot me an email. You know, and just let me know where you are in the country, and then I'll help you find your local IAEI chapter. And again, you don't have to be an electrical inspector. I'm going to say more than half of the members in my chapter, they're, you know, master electricians, and they bring, you know, their number one electricians with them. And we do code seminars, and that's what we do. And it's all about education.
Very cool. Very cool. Stephen, how often are you guys in training, and what do you guys do like on a regular? Like do you guys have your tailgate meetings? Tell us a little bit about the union part of it.
Sure. Well, I recently turned out just over a year ago. So aside from, you know, my apprenticeship classes and everything that I had, there really hasn't been any specific union training as far as like keeping up with the code and whatnot. Mm-hmm. We do continuing education, and we can go to the union hall to do that. The classes are, I have to double check. They're either free or like 20 or 30 bucks for members. Mm-hmm. But there's a ton of different things that we can learn about, tons of different topics, and there's always classes happening. So whether I want to learn about like surge protectors, I think is what you guys were talking about earlier, or solar, or just like recent code updates, there's always availability for me to learn about those kinds of things in person if I want, which is pretty sweet.
That is very cool. All right, I got to ask you something. Let's see the hat.
I'm seeing
I'm seeing Dirty Hands, Clean Money everywhere. Are they a sponsor?
Yeah, well, funny enough, so my wife actually got me one of their hoodies for Valentine's Day, and
Very
I loved
cool.
it. I thought it was really cool, and so I
Uh-huh.
started a conversation, and it
And
turned
they
into
said, hell yeah. I know
yeah.
Lexi over there on TikTok, we were just talking about, a bunch of the gals got it, and I've been starting to seeing it around. I mean, hey, big shout out. I'm not sponsored by them, so I don't care, but I'm a win-win, pay it forward. Tell me about the company. And obviously you got it. You believe in it. I mean, what are they doing over there?
Yeah, Troll Clothing is the name of the company, and so really they're just big on blue collar work.
I love it.
So you see a lot of guys like
American
welding.
made.
Yeah, exactly. American made, blue collar. The coolest thing I think about Troll Clothing is they have like weekly, not we have like a rep that does a live stream, and so all of the different people that are sponsored by them,
Mhm.
we're on the live stream, and it's just a really cool community. Like
Sure.
the whole like
I
family.
like it.
aspect
Kind of
of
like
it.
what we're doing, but involved in their group.
Exactly. Yeah,
Love
it's
it.
a really cool thing.
Very cool. Okay, I wanted to give a shout out on that because I did notice it, and I've been noticing a lot on YouTube. So, Troll, good for you guys, man. American made. Dude, I've got some awesome news. In fact, my buddy just called me. We just got a job. We've been doing and I'm going to throw it out there right now, but it's Guide Dogs of America, GDA. They have now joined with a couple of other groups, and I don't want to mess this up. But before they were raising puppies from birth. They have a birthing facility, a vet center, a kennel. They raise guide dogs for the seeing impaired. They raise it, they train it, they get it up to speed, and they give it away for free for those that have sight issues. And it costs them about $40,000 per dog by the time they come, because they fly the seeing impaired. They train them with the dog. They apartment them, and we got a chance to build the apartments and the low voltage. We just got a contract from them again because we have such a great relationship. And Russ, big shout out, because you just called me and I couldn't answer. That's because I was on this live cast, but I'm giving you a big shout out for Guide Dogs America. But here's the cool part. They just added for autism and for veterans for PTSD and stuff like that. And so it's super huge. I promised Russ that I'm on board. They do a lot of events. They bring the puppies. It's a whole cool thing. They got a live cam of the puppy cams, but they're dogs, they're labs and German Shepherds. You just fall in love with them. I'm going to be going back to LA and film with that. And so again, just sponsors like that. Sponsors, Guide Dog's not a sponsor of mine. I'm a sponsor of theirs, right? I just love hearing about that stuff. And that's our community. We're on YouTube. Yeah, we have an audience. We have a say, but what we're doing with that audience is so important. And so anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there for Russ because he was literally calling me to say, when are you starting the job? So very cool. Andy and Juan, start with you, man. How you just got your license as well. I think that's what Andy said. Let me get you off mute. I'm sorry. I meet you guys just so that the back room. You're on. Go for it.
You good? Okay, so I got my license about a year ago. We just started our second year. It's the first year was just me by myself working, and I want to say our first year we did almost 500,000 in revenue, and so I hired a couple helpers this year. So we'll see how it goes. I do strictly residential service work. Okay. I do light commercial as it comes in, but my bulk of my work is all residential service.
Right? Is that kind of what you were trained in? How'd you get into the trade?
No, I did a 5-year apprenticeship out here for local 477 San Bernardino.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So are you union house now, or are you independent?
No, I can't afford to be union and do residential out here. Like, there's no way.
Right.
I
it's too much. Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's a big tough one. And that's what I was talking about with Steve yesterday, is how hard it is to stay in business these days. It's getting tougher and tougher. Very cool. Andy, again, you just started out as well. You just got your C10, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I'm still waiting for my actual number.
That's awesome.
I sent them all my.
It's 6,753,000 now. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny because when I started, actually, this is the funny part. Steve and Steven, you guys are in different states. So when I started, it was a pretty big deal for your license number. It's almost like, well, what's your license number? Oh, you've been doing this for 50 years. So my license number starts with 800,000. And I think they're at like 1,100,000. So in 20 years, 200,000 electrical licenses were given out, I'm assuming, or maybe it's 200,000 contractors. But in California, the number one license, are you ready? Juan and Andy. I'm gonna give you guys a prize. You're gonna pick your prize. Can you tell me the number one license issued in California? What license is it? Juan, Andy, whoever answers first.
GC probably.
Okay. Andy, what do you think?
The C10.
Okay. The B license is number one. Guess what, Andy?
Wow.
The C10 is number 2. Both of you guys are going to get something. You guys got a service van? Who's got a service van? What do you have, Andy?
I'm actually picking mine in a couple weeks.
You're getting a Ford Transit?
Yeah.
You are. Ford Transit. Yeah. That's coming out to you, my friend. You got my email address. You're going to send me your information. You're going to get it because nobody answered the question. Steven, nobody knows your videos here, buddy. What's going on here? Let me see. Did anybody answer?
Oh, they know.
Okay, I know they know, but I'm saying they're sleeping over there. Juan, what kind of van are you driving?
Ford Transit, the mid-roof.
Ford Transit mid-roof, just like mine. I hope I have one more left. Ford Transit, You guys are getting it. I'm going to send those guys out to you guys. Make sure you send me your email, your address you want it through email. All right, let's take a look, Steve and Steven. Let's see. Jonathan, did we answer that? Hi, Jip, just got home from work. There's Bubba. Alex, what's up, my friend? What are the most important code sections I should study for the journeyman exam apprentice here? And also let us know where you're coming in from, Alex. That's all you, Steve. Sorry, got you on mute. There you go. Oop, I can't get you off mute.
There we go. All right.
Oh, I'm muting. You're unmuting. Go for it.
Okay, so good. So I'm going to suggest that you really focus on obviously Article 90 introduction. Then you've got Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 4. So if you can really focus on the introduction and chapters 1 through 4, you're probably going to study most of what's going to be on the exam. Obviously, we have Chapter 5, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, and Chapter 8. But I'm going to say the meat and potatoes is probably from the introduction through Chapter 1 through Chapter 4. But what I want you to do is, just get index cards and just on one side write down the name of the article and then flip the card over and then write the number of the article. And at least be aware, if you're looking at a question, that it relates to an article instead of having to go to the index all the time. Because if you go to the index, chances are you've already failed the exam and you've only got about 2 minutes per question.
Yeah,
so that's my advice.
Okay.
Also, I'm a teacher. I have the website electricaltime.com. Just go there, click on the online classes, and then I'll let you sit in on a class, see if you like it.
That's right. Electrictime.com. You can sit in on a free class. Yeah. That's awesome. Steven, got a question for you coming up right here.
Okay.
Jonathan is Steven. Jonathan's a longtime follower of the channel. He's just getting into the trade, but there's a question for you.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that it doesn't really matter so much.
I think it'd be a plus, wouldn't it? Somehow.
If you,
because he's in trade school, from what I understand.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, it would definitely make you look a lot more qualified. Like if you're trying to get into the apprenticeship, they would see that as like you already know different
basic
aspects of the electrical trade. Some theory, you might know some code. So yeah, it definitely would be a plus as far as applying and getting into the program. If you have already like completed an apprenticeship through the non-union, it's pretty easy to get into the union at that point. Like if you're already turned out and you already have your journeyman's license. But yeah, I guess it would technically make you stand out a little bit more because you would be more qualified and a better candidate for the apprenticeship since you already know some of the stuff going into it.
Very cool. All right, awesome. Here's another one. This one's coming to you, Juan, and Steven, basically. Let me try to get you over here. Juan, since you talked about you were in there for 5 years, that question's for you. I'll get you off mute there and go for it.
I got you. So the way I got in actually is I got sponsored by my father-in-law. I was 19 and I was about to get married and I didn't have any direction. And he was already a union electrician. And basically he just said, hey, you're going to come to work with me and I'm going to get you in the union. He worked for an electrical contractor. I started working for them as a helper and I was in the union probably within a month as a first year apprentice. So that's the way I got in. I would just say to get in, just, I mean, start applying right now and try to get into a shop is the best thing, because they're going to want to see when they interview you that it's not just I turn in an application. Like, this is going to be what I do now. So you're making a effort to go that direction. Even if you're not in at the moment, they want to see like you're going that way no matter what, with or without them type thing. Like,
yeah, I just got a text from the union, and they said as long as you're a subscriber to the Mad Electrician, you're in. It says it right here. I just got the text. So there you go. But no, any advice on that too, Stephen? Again, I have heard it's who you know, not what you know sometimes. Is there some truth behind there, or is that just like a mafia thing, right?
So it might matter in some locals, maybe some are that way, but I go off of what I know here with Local 48. And in my case, I didn't know anybody that was a part of Local 48. My brother-in-law, he is a general foreman for Local 280 in Seattle, Washington, or I'm sorry, Local 46. But no, I didn't know anybody going into it. And in fact, I came from a sales background. I was a store manager for AT&T before I got into the trade.
Yep, I did see that one of your videos.
Yeah, and so as far as like being qualified, like I had to have been one of the most unqualified guys trying to get in. But what I did was, I spent a lot of time putting together a portfolio. That's something that I talk about a lot in my videos. And even though personally I felt like I wasn't one of the best candidates for the apprenticeship, when you're interviewing, your job is to convince them that you are the best candidate for the apprenticeship. And so what I would do is I would do different projects around the house. I would work on my car, and I would do all these different things and take pictures of that, and then put it into basically a file and have descriptions of different things that I did, letters of recommendations. And basically, like when I finally got to the point where I had my interview, one of the things that I said when they asked me, they said, why should we hire you for this apprenticeship? And I said, look, anybody can come into this and tell you that they'll be the best candidate for this apprenticeship. And I said, I can prove to you that it will be the best.
Nice.
Because if you look at every single job that I have, you'll see that within a short amount of time, I was promoted to a position of leadership. And so, I've climbed the ladder in various different things that I've been in, and I fully intend on doing the same thing here. So
that's great advice. Awesome. That's great advice. I love it. I love it. Here we go. We got another. Victor, why are you not in here? So Jonathan, about California, took 3 months to get his electrician trainee. Well, Andy's still waiting for his contractor's license to come through. And I heard for testing on journeyman in California right now is taking months to get your journeyman certification. So it's not out of the ordinary, Jonathan, for sure. All right, Victor, subscriber to the channel, join member. Hi, guys. Missed the time to accept the join for the invite live, but I'm here, Jeff. You know what? I'm going to send him an invite because you know what? Victor, I know I see you a lot on Instagram, and sorry, I mean, I don't know. And Steven, I don't know if you know Victor. I think he's there. I'm not sure if you have a lot of content because I watch so many stuff. But Victor, I'm sending you the invite through the Gmail right now, and we'll get you in here. That's okay. But good to see you. Listen, you guys did not answer the questions. Tell me the last video or the latest video that Mad Electrician has posted on any of his social media networks, and also Steven from Electrical Time, both here in the podcast for you. Ask your code questions, ask your union questions, ask your contractor questions. That's what we're here for. And don't forget to smash like. Let's see how many likes we got. I know we've been going on for about an hour now. And if I refresh my screen, which is what I do, guys, and I'll tell you if we're going to be able to have dinner tonight. Let's see here. We've got, how many likes do we have? Do we know? I don't know. I can't tell. Here we go. Not enough. Only 15 likes. Come on. We've had 100 people come through here. Smash that like button. And Victor, I'm going to try to get you in here. Lewis, how long after you graduated your apprenticeship did you wait to become a C10 electrical contractor? Back to you, Juan.
Okay. So basically, I had a real long story. I was in the union for 22 years. So I did I got my journeyman ticket for electrician.
22, wow.
Yeah. So I did 2 apprenticeships. I did the first one to become an electrician, and then I was in it for about 10 years total. And then I did a second apprenticeship to become a journeyman lineman, and I did that for about 12 years. And then after that, now I started... so it's been a long time in the making, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Let's see if we have any other questions. Victor, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you in here. I'm trying really quick. Anybody else have any questions? Any other questions from us that are in here to Steve? Any code questions? You're talking about a guy that helps write code, talks to these people that write code, the UL guys. You guys have to have some questions. And then, of course, as I said, any questions, business-related questions, shoot them out to me. Andy, Juan, you guys have any questions? This is like coaching on the biggest discount possible by just joining the channel, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Juan. No, go ahead.
No. So what are you guys doing for marketing? I know you have your marketing program, Jeff, and I haven't gotten it yet. Like, I'm big on Yelp, Facebook ads. There's another one I was a part of, networks. Like, when I first started, like, I'm buying leads because I have to buy them because people don't know who I am. Right. And so, like I said, I'm starting to get more organic leads through Google and through my Google My Business and things like that. But like I said, until people know who you are, that's how I see that you get leads. So I've talked to Steven probably for months, but we really email back and forth. So he doesn't know much about me either, because I want to fill him in. Andy, I know you've been following me. So guys, I own a mid-size electrical contracting company out in California. You guys seen all the videos. I'm going to be flying back there next week. I run my business from 1,200 miles away. Okay. People freak out when I meet people here and I consult with them, other trades too. You know, I had a couple of guys, I'm building a house here. It's almost done. It's, dream come true. I'm blessed. I feel like God's blessed me so much. I have to give other people all this information that's locked in here. So, the way I do it, Juan, is a couple of things, but you know what? Number one is, I've been around for 18 years. The phone rings no matter what. You've heard me say it. It's my punchline. I'm going to copyright it. Be the lead. Don't pay for leads. That doesn't mean that I don't tell everybody like you, like Andy, anybody starting out, you have to do the Yelp. You have to do the house. You have to do the next door, whatever it's called. You have to do Google Maps. The point of that is when you do it, though, it sucks. There's nobody on earth that's going to say, I love Angie's List. I've never heard a single person say it. You can make a living. You're going to have your sushi and pay for your Tahoe, right? You might pay rent, but you're never going to level up. You're always going to be the handyman. But when you become the lead, right? When you mine every single customer. So yes, my marketing course, I spit it out. People are like, he's a salesman. Hell yeah, I'm a salesman. What do you think I am? I'm trying to sell you guys, into an investment to live like I live. This doesn't happen on accident. Every client that we go to, now I don't do it anymore. I don't practice what I preach is not true. I don't have to practice it anymore because I can't afford a phone to ring unless I want to start getting more guys. My crew, on my outside crew, 17 is the most I ever had, and we had 4 on the inside. So about 21, I'll never do it again. I just never was happy. I honestly didn't make the money I wanted to make, and it was just run. That's not me. We're down to such a streamlined skeleton crew. The way it works is, again, I did it so much that now I have so much referral. There's so much information out there. I honestly, it's the God honest truth. 18 years in business, I only have 15 5-star ratings on Google Maps. Can you believe it? People that are new, like Andy, you just started out. Someone like you, if you push it, you can have 500 at the end of the year. Somebody told me the other day, he goes, hey, you only have 15 stars? And I go, that many? Yelp calls me. I hang up the phone right away. I said, out of business, don't call me. I don't, because that's not how I get my client. I guarantee you, if Steve, if anybody recommended me to you, 99% closing rate, 99% you're getting the job, 99%. Now, I tell you my marketing thing. I teach you in theory how to rip $100 bills. So Steven, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being such a great client. Can I give you a gift that you can give to your friends and family so that I can make sure that I'm their electrician too? Absolutely. I'll take out $300 bills and I'll write his mom's name, sister's name, and a coworker's name. I'll rip $300 bills in half. And I'll say, give this to your mom, your sister, and your coworker. If they call me, I'll put the other 2 together and they can use it towards any work you get done. Now, of course, I'm not ripping $100 bills. We're not the Mr. Beast of electrical yet. But the theory is the same. So if life takes over, Juan, you met a customer. This is how I thought of this. Believe me, this is half me and half the other businesses that I've owned. And I thought to myself, I'm leaving this customer, and Steve over there in New York loved me. I know he's going to refer me to 5 people. It was worth giving him a discount. It was worth me working overtime. And then like a year will go by and I'll go, oh man, what happened to that guy, Steve?
Because the second you and I leave as a contractor, the wife calls and says, the kid just got sick and they ran to the ER. Another person got in a car accident. You leave for a second to go to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee, and you come home and life takes over, right? Yeah, you're done. Exactly. You're never getting referred until that one moment when they're playing poker and the guy goes, I know an electrician. Let me think. But when I come home when life taking over and I came home from the hospital, everyone's okay. And I look down on that counter and I see 3 ripped up $100 bills. What am I going to do? I'm back in the game, baby. And you do that to one client, make him 3 to 9, 9 to 27. So I'm not teaching you. Flyers have been around for 100 years. Right? But I'm teaching you how you're going to use that flyer 10 different ways to close your sales, how you're going to get that flyer passed out, not leaving a stack in the restaurant and hoping and praying someone's going to take it. I mean, it's going to get passed out to your type of client, guaranteed, without you lifting a finger or paying a penny besides printing the flyer. How is that possible? Super simple trick that my printing friend, I have a friend that owns a printing company. He taught it to me and I teach it to you. So these are the things I'm teaching you guys. I'm teaching you guys how you're going to level up on that service van. Yeah, you got a logo, right? I'm going to teach you how someone's going to literally be able to rip a piece of that logo and take it with you. And that makes the biggest difference rather than, ask me. Every electrician I see, remember, I hunt him down and try to give him free stuff and money. So I take pictures of everybody, but I'll forget about it. But if I took something, if I took a business card, if I took a magnet, if I took something, then I have that with me. It's always going to be in front of my face. So that's what that does. And thank you for doing it. So if you go to my website, www.360electrician.com, I'll put it up right now. Take 50, TAKE 50 in all capitals. Let me see if I can find it. Is it here? It's right there, right? There we go. Head to the website. I'll put it on this way. It'll be easier. Take 50, TAKE 50. You're going to get $50 off the marketing course or the paperwork course, which I always have my paperwork handy. And you guys are in California, so you're going to get all the legal mumbo jumbo, completely editable. I'm going to teach you exactly how I do it, how you're going to get your permissions, how you're going to guaranteed get your service call, how you're not going to be in trouble if you broke that vase that they were supposed to remove, how you're going to make sure you collect if you show up to the job site and the tenant wasn't there to open the door, all that good stuff. Okay, I'm done promoting. But that's only to help you guys level up.
Hey, Jeff, I think I got to jump off, unfortunately.
For sure, Steven.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're all going to wind it down, actually. We're going to wind it down. I'm going to let you go really quick. I just want to see if there's any other ABC, NorCal, and Western Electric Contractors Association are state and federally approved apprenticeship. Perfect. Yeah. Listen, anything else? Steven, go ahead and jump off. I appreciate you. We're talking, right? You're going to reach out. We're going to talk.
Yes.
We're going to get you. Don't tell the union, but you're going to be a full-time YouTuber very, very soon. We're going to monetize the heck out of the Mad Electrician.
I love it.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. And we'll definitely see you on the new one. And let's do a collab together. I'll reach out.
Yes.
Steven, and all you guys, let's say our goodbyes. I know we're going to wind down. Steve, sorry. I'll remind everybody, electrictime.com and electrical. I know I messed that up. electricaltime.com and Electrical Time on YouTube. Anything you want to say before we go? Tell us about your free class one more time.
Well, if you go to my website, electricaltime.com, there's a button called online code classes. Just click that button and you'll be able to send me an email, and then I'll invite you to sit in on one of our classes.
Two of these guys are doing it for
sure. And if you like it, great. And if you don't like it, then, that's okay too. But at least, you'll be able to see what we do. And we talk about the code, and we have lots of slides and lots of great questions in our classes.
Very cool. And Victor just pops in the end. Victor, you are in. Steven, I know you got to go. Trust me. Log off if you need to. Steven, Victor, are you on Instagram? You're on Instagram, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's your channel on Instagram?
Custom Electric.
Yes,
TX.
Of course. You got a big Instagram channel, right?
Yeah, it's got like 1,000 followers.
Okay, all right, but you got some really nice stuff on there too. I definitely recommend everybody do some kind of social media. Juan's probably looking at me going, "Oh man, Juan, come on, I'm 51. You're younger than me. How old are you, Juan?
43.
Dude, you're a young pup still. You got to shake that booty on TikTok, right?
I feel like an old. I feel like the old guy here. I'm going to be 60 pretty soon.
Oh man, well you're the wisest, so that makes sense. Victor, have you met Steve from Electrical Time?
No, I haven't.
Any code questions? You probably got about 2 minutes.
Hi, Victor.
I did. Hi. I did write one. I was like, I just received the 2023 Mike Holt code changes, and I guess NM cable now has a bend radius, and I was just like kind of taken back by that. Just wondering what that's all about.
Well, I'm not teaching the 2023 code yet, but NM cable is going to be Article 334, and there is a bending radius in there, and I think it's 5 times.
That's what we just talked about on the podcast yesterday.
Right, so it's 5 times.
Oh,
And
really?
when I do electrical inspections, I'm an electrical inspector and I'm an instructor. I see the guys coming, with the NM cable. We call that Romex. And they come out through the stud and they go right down to the switch and they make a sharp bend. I even saw a guy one time take a hammer to make that bend really super sharp. And I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I just want to make sure it's good." I said, "Get off the ladder." I said, "Go take, get out of here." I said, "You're not an electrician, but you got to have a proper bending radius so that you're not damaging the outer covering, the sheathing." Now, there's really no requirement for the conductors unless you look at the manufacturer's instructions, which is required by 110.3b of the NEC. But, for NM cable, it's going to be 5 times the radius of that NM cable. And again, that's going to be found in Article 334 of the National Electrical Code.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right, look at that. The Residential Electrician by Sparky Joe became a YouTube member. Thank you very much. Very cool. So I hope that answered your question, Victor. So the podcast with me and Steve comes out probably on Friday, Steve. I'm going to do some editing because it was a little rough start for me, but Steve was right on par. He was code.
I got to warn.
Code compliant.
I'm going to warn all of the electrical contractors out there. The podcast that Jeff and I did. You got to listen to it, and it's a long one. It's an hour and a half, Jeff.
Hour and 20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really long one, and I went and I used to be an electrical contractor myself, so I studied. I mean, I studied so hard, and I risked everything to become an electrical contractor, and there's a couple like really stupid things that can happen out there that can just wipe you out of business. And in that podcast that I did with Jeff, we discussed a couple of those things. And it's scary to think that, we could lose everything, just overnight. And I was talking with Jeff before. I called him. And my ex-boss, I was talking with him, and we're still best friends. He told me that there was a fire at a house that he did electrical work at. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's terrible. So, and you always have to think, is that something maybe I was responsible for? Maybe you could have done something. So we found out that it was actually another electrician that was there later on. They had built an extension on this house, and the fire was in the extension. And, my heart, started racing when I heard about that. And in the podcast that you're going to, I think Jeff's going to publish on Friday, I give everybody a couple of clues on what you can do to better protect yourself, because you never know when this is going to come to bite you. And, as an electrical contractor, you're doing everything. You're answering the phone, you're doing the invoicing, you're buying the materials, you're going to look at the estimates at the new jobs. You're dealing with all kinds of people out there. And then by the time your 20-hour day ends and you only got 4 hours to sleep, now you think about hiring people, to help you, helpers and apprentices. And what Jeff does with the products, I think, Jeff, you really found a need, for these contractors. And I wish when I was a contractor that I knew about what you did here. That would have helped me to save a lot of mistakes. So,
I always say that about YouTube. YouTube has saved us in so many different ways, to get these answers. Victor, where are you a contractor at, by the way? What city, state?
The Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth area.
That's right. Dallas, Fort Worth. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, you guys are still booming. My brother's got a handyman service out there. He's booming. And he went to trade school with me. He goes, I don't want to be an electrician. I got it made. I go hang TVs and then I go have fun the rest of the day. And I'm like, yeah, don't do what we're doing.
Victor, what code cycle are you on down there?
I'm actually in Midlothian. It's a small city. We're in 2017 still. We're on the outskirts of Dallas Fort Worth, but Dallas area I think is in 2020, and some other areas like Fort Worth. There's so many different jurisdictions where I got to sign up as a contractor to get permits. Like I literally keep a whole list just to keep track of what expires when, and it's pretty. It gets pretty intense. So,
yeah, I can imagine.
My only advice there, if you're working in different jurisdictions, the authority having jurisdiction, the AHJ, in these different little towns and cities, they might have some special rules that you need to know about. And that's the only thing that I could see that could really, trip up a contractor, especially if you're working in a new area. So my suggestion is, contact the building department, see if there's any special things that they have that are different than the National Electrical Code. Because remember, the AHJ, and I think that's under 90.4, gives that person the ability to interpret the code. So you got to make sure that you're doing things in agreement with that AHJ, because that's the boss for the area.
All right. Well, listen, gentlemen. Too bad we didn't have any ladies in here. If you're a woman in the trade, we want you guys in here. I'm trying to do a whole special thing. I think this is my wife probably calling me on that phone, and I can't shut that one off. But guys, I super appreciate you. I appreciate you, all of you guys that have joined the channel, that support the 360 Electrician. I support you. Steve, thank you so much. Steven, thank you so much. I know you locked off. Victor, Juan, Andy, sorry. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Look out. Go and subscribe to the podcast as soon as you click off. Go and subscribe to Steve's channel, Electrical Time, on YouTube. And, guys, we will see you on the next one. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye now.